Hey guys, it is me, Portia Collins here, and I am incredibly excited to be kind of walking through with you today the new Logos 9 upgrade. Man, like, if you know me, you know that I really, really love Logos. It is my go to Bible study software tool that I love to use. And so I really want to walk through some of the incredible features that they've recently unveiled. And I hope that this, if you're not already a Logos user, I hope that this would be something that would hopefully spark you to look more into checking out the product. And if you're already a Logos user and you're using Logos 8 or maybe even Logos 7, maybe this will be something that will encourage you to upgrade. So let's get to it. The first thing that I want you to see is, if you've been using Logos, then you know that previously there was not a dark mode. Now, I'm a huge proponent of dark mode ever since it was released on for my Apple products. For anything that I already use, I've swapped over to dark mode because it's just easier on my eyes. And so I love that they incorporated this. From what I hear, this was like the number one user requested feature. And so now I just love popping in here and it's darker, easier on my eyes. And so this area here is basically what you would call like your home screen. So as soon as you open up Logos, this is where you populate all of your information kind of populates into here, and it's based on resources that you have or connected accounts that you may have. And so quickly here you see over here in the top left corner, yeah, top left corner, to make sure I'm not mirrored. We see my reading plan, and if there were other things, if I had a different type of reading plan or a prayer plan or something like that, that would all be here. Over here on the right side, if I hit that plus sign, I could actually put in another type of reading plan. So here we see that it's my 5-day Bible reading plan that I have right now. But if I wanted to put in a different type of reading plan, let's say for a book that's in my Logos library, then I could do that. So I'm going to show you how to walk through that really quickly. So first of all, as you can see, they have some pre-populated reading plans that you could choose from if you wanted to. But say, like I said, say you didn't want to do a Bible reading plan. Say you wanted to do a different kind of reading plan from a book. And so you could click here, generate a reading plan. And so here, all passages by default in English Standard, but that's not what I want to use. So maybe I want to use a book. I've been going through these 40 question series for class. And so say I wanted to use 40 questions about Christian and, biblical law. And so I would click that. All right, so we got the book in. We want to start the plan tomorrow. And let's say we want to finish in, let's go down here. Not 1 year, not 6 months. We want to do this book in 2 weeks. All right, so we got that there. And if I wanted to invite somebody else to read it with me, I could. And these are actually other groups. So no, this is not the actual Derek Thomas or John Stott. These are groups, faith life groups that I'm already in. And so if I wanted to invite some friends from Southeastern, I'm currently enrolled at Southeastern Baptist Theological Seminary. If I wanted to invite people from that group to read this plan with me, then I could just click there. But I'm going to do it by myself. And so we're going to say start, and boom, it's going to populate how many pages I need to read daily so that I can complete my reading plan. And then here, if I wanted to click, it actually shows the calendar. And if I really wanted to get super jazzy, I could click right up here where it says export to iCal. I could export this reading plan to my iCalendar, and then it would populate in my calendar for me to get notifications every day. So when I look at my calendar, I can say, oh, this is the amount of reading that I need to do today. And so that is a really, really cool, neat feature. I love it. I'm going to close all this out while we're talking. This is a good way to show you how to close. There's a little button up there at the top. And so everything that I just opened up, if I say, okay, I'm done with that, then I can just hit that close all. And now it brings me back to my home screen. And as you can see on the home screen now, I have that reading plan there. So this is my dashboard showing me everything that I've got going. And like I said, if I wanted to put a prayer list in there, I could do that. And so when I pop open my Logos every day, then automatically it starts me off with my quote unquote action items. Now I kind of want to scroll down a little bit so you can see some things. Like I said earlier, all of this is populated based on the resources that I have in my current package. And so if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to look because I'm not sure what my package is right now. And so it looks like my package is currently the base package for the Logos 9 library. And so yeah, I've had a variety of packages, and so it's always good for me to check because I don't know if I've streamlined something to the reform track or whatever it is, if it's gold or silver or whatever. I'm always like trying to figure out what package I have now, so it's always good to check that. But based on the resources that I have in my library now, you can see everything here. Another cool thing is, as I mentioned, I'm in seminary, and so there's a link between my seminary, who basically has collaborated with Logos. There's a link between my seminary account and this, and so I'm trying to scroll to see if there are any updates. But typically, like yesterday, okay, prime example, look right there on the left side, we see a headline from Southeastern about our trustees approving the 2021 budget. And then you got another news headline here. And so it always, also look at that. And so I love that it puts in information that I need to know about what's happening at Southeastern. And so that's pretty cool. And then, like I said, all of these things, like, here's an excerpt about sanctification, and this is pulled from a resource that I have in my library. So I'm just scrolling so you can see all of this. And like I said, this is all on this home page. This is what it looks like when you first open up Logos. Now, so the next thing that I kind of want to talk about is the new features that Logos has kind of rolled out. If you want to check out some of my old previously favorited features, you could go back and look on my YouTube channel, and there's a video that I've done. I recorded a couple of months back where I kind of briefly walked through Logos. So I won't recover that information, or at least I'm going to try not to. I'm specifically going to try to focus on the new things that have been incorporated in Logos 9. All right, so the first thing that I really, really like is, no, I don't want to go to Docs. I actually want to go to Tools. Yes. So Tools. The Fact Book is a huge favorite of many Logos users. As you can see, the Fact Book shows information about media, information and media about people, places, things, events, and other topics. And so we're going to quickly look through this. And as you can see, I was already playing around with it. So what's already populated in here is God's wrath. That was something that I just typed in earlier, and the Fact Book begins to populate information to kind of give me a synopsis of that particular topic, key passages, as well as other things in my library. Now, this seems kind of like not a lot of information, so depending on what you type, sometimes it's going to populate different things, but I'm going to do one that I know shows a lot of information. And so we're going to type in love. And so now that pops up, love. Let's say you were looking at doing, for those who are pastors, you were looking at doing love as a preaching theme. And so this pops up, just so much information. Love in the Old Testament, further reading that you can look at, actual media if you wanted to use like a cover slide, if you have visual audio visual tools at your church or wherever it is that you may be teaching or preaching at, you could incorporate these media, the different types of media that Logos offers. Also, you got key passages that reference love, the biblical senses, dictionaries, sermons. So sermons from like B.B. Warfield and Charles Spurgeon. Let's pull those down. So yeah, you can even see what some of these look like. And you can check them out. John Piper, his look at the book. Labs, you can check those out. Preaching resources. These are all resources that I have in my Logos library. So don't just automatically think that it will be in yours. You kind of got to compile the package that's best for you. I've been using Logos since 2013. So my library has grown more and more each year. So some of these resources you may, if you're just starting out using Logos, you may have them in there. But if not, you just kind of want to start building. You can always, add whatever it is that you want to your library. And so here we have different topics, guides, like a topic guide. Let's click on it and see what populates over here. So now it pulls up the topic guide. And this even breaks down even more. These are actual Faith Life sermons that others have uploaded to Faith Life. And so you can check them out. Also, see, we got in my Logos library, I have sermon outlines. And not that I would need, a lot of this, but sometimes it's just helpful. I'm not a pastor or anything, but I am a teacher of God's word. And so it's helpful to kind of review these resources and to frame whatever my teaching is going to be. If I'm teaching at a conference or just even with just sister friends who are coming over to my house just to talk about different things or talk about different biblical topics, this is always helpful. You got some interactives here. Go back and check my last video on Logos because I really explored how I love the Psalms feature on here. Here's more media that you could use and incorporate into your teaching. And then also, if there are resources that may be good that cover this particular topic, but they're not in your library, you can actually add them to your library. So Logos kind of populates a list of resources that may be good to have. And here's more media to incorporate. And so I think that's pretty cool. Like I said, the fact book feature is a really quick way to just start brainstorming on a topic, and it's a succinct way of getting a lot of information really, really quickly. All right, as I mentioned, there are features that I think are really, really good. I may not use them all the time. I am not a pastor, so I'm not preaching sermons every every Sunday, but I do have friends who are pastors and they may find this feature really, really cool. I know that I did. As a teacher, this is good, especially like when I've been invited to conferences and things like that. You have to stick to a really tight time schedule a lot of times. And so I'm going to show you this sermon builder feature that I absolutely loved. And so here is where you can start to build your sermon. And we're going to just play around with this. So say that we searched in the fact book about love, and maybe our first topic is, what is biblical? Can I spell today, y'all? love. And then say you just want, I'm just gonna put some little dummy text down here, and you want to say, hey, I'm just typing out. You got things that maybe you want to incorporate, because remember, you can go in and you can actually pull up stuff from the fact book. And I'm gonna try to do this right now. So I'm playing with some of this, y'all, and I haven't tested everything out myself, so we're gonna see how it works. But say, all right, fact book pops up over there. Wow, look at that. We got the love. All right, and so say I want to incorporate that. We could put that media in there. Let's see if it pops in. It may not. I don't know. Let's see. I'm checking it out. Or maybe, let's see. Maybe it pops in there. Okay, yeah. So this is definitely something I'm going to have to figure out. I'm going to have to play around with a little bit more. But even aside from the media, I do know that, like, say if you wanted to put this definition in, so we can copy and just go down here. Boom. And so you got your notes, the things that you want to put in. Say if you wanted, to incorporate some of this, you copy and you put it in there. And so you can just start to build your sermon, putting in your text, the things that you want to say, and also referencing the information that's in your Logos library. Now, this is cool. This is the part that I really want to show you. Once you get this done, and I don't want to auto-publish that to Faith Life Sermons. But for those, there are many, like I showed earlier, in your library, you can have Faith Life Sermons. Or when it populates in the topic guide, it can show you other people who have Logos or Faith Life accounts that have preached on the particular topic. So you have that option if you want to publish it, but I don't want to do that here. And so another thing that I'm drawing attention to is, as you can see right there, 130 is this how many words we have in the document right now. 139, and so roughly we've got 1 minute of content. All right, but say that this was longer and we were ready to preach, we could hit that preach button, and let's just watch what happens here. All right, I'm gonna open this up. So now we have, in a clean screen, easy to read, big, double space, you now have your sermon in front of you. And what is even better is you have your clock right here as you're preaching, so you can see, but also you can set this. And so if I had 30 minutes to preach, I would put that in. If I had 45, I could put that in, and I could start the timer. And then as I preach, when I finally get down, and I'm not saying me preaching, I'm just saying whoever, once I get down to that 1 minute, 2 minutes left in my time slot, then it will begin to flash. And then once I'm over time, it will flash to let me know that I am over time. I think that this is an excellent feature, especially for those who like to teach or preach from clean screens. You can see all of your information. You can go, just hit the button and go from page to page. And it makes it super, super duper simple and efficient. So I don't know about y'all, but that was pretty cool to me. All right, so I'm gonna close all of this out. Again, we go up there to close all, and now it brings me back to my home screen. So let's say what other feature? Oh, another feature that they just recently incorporated. So another thing that I love the guides here. In my last Logos video, I talked about how to use things like the exegetical guide and the passage guide and all of that. And so one new guide that they have incorporated that will be particularly useful for anyone who is providing biblical counsel for others, whether you're a pastor or you're actually in the field of biblical counseling, or even if you just got a friend who needs some wise counsel and they say, hey, Portia, I feel like, you believe what the Bible says, you have a biblical worldview. Can you help me, kind of walk through this issue by filtering it through the scriptures? And so this counseling guide is amazing. I really, really loved that they incorporated this, and I played around with it a little bit last night, but it has a variety of topics, and so we're gonna look at this now. One of the things is like chronic illness. This was attractive to me because I deal with chronic illness. Full transparency, I have fibromyalgia. And so when I was going through and I saw the topics, I was like, oh, this is really cool. And so, like, literally, it brings up all of this information, to kind of help you filter through. But then here, we can go down here. Let me see. Yep, you can click on that resource there. And so it's at the bottom because that's kind of where the last place was that I was reading. I'm scrolling up fast, so I'm sorry. So yeah, here we go. All right. So chronic illness, disabilities. I mean, tons and tons of information. Even when you look, very, biblically centered, scripture focused. Talking about, it gives you a list of different types of chronic illnesses. As you can see, fibromyalgia is listed there, but they have a ton of them. I'm sure it's not an exhaustive list, but it just kind of helps you to get your mind framed on what you may be looking at. And then, like I said, very scripturally supported. And then it just gives you like the different questions, like, is a physical affliction the result of sin? And so you got two different things. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Are there blessings from afflictions? And all of these scriptures where, you have the point and then you have scriptures to support whatever the point is. And so I thought this was an excellent resource. Not even if you're not using it for anybody else, it's just good to have just for your own sake, just to kind of help yourself walk through some very, tough topics and being able to look at them from a biblical perspective. All right, let me see what other feature. We're gonna go back to my and you can also close from there too, guys, but I just always like to do the close all at the top. One other feature that I want to point out really quickly is the charts feature. So here we have right here charts. So you click on that and you can start a new search, and I'm gonna put the phrase in that they actually mention in the helps. Son of Man. So let's just say that we are looking for, throughout all the text in the Bible, all the passages, English Standard Version, how many times is Son of Man mentioned? All right. Let's see what it populates. Well, look at that. So we have, what is this? Is this the book of Daniel? And then this is Matthew, Mark. And so it's basically showing you, and I think it may have kind of the way that when I clicked on it, it actually broke it down into like the person or Son of Man. But I'm going to close this out because I kind of want to go back one more time. We're going to go to this charts again. And as y'all can see, I'm playing around with this like live. So this is not curated like content. This is just new stuff that I know that they've rolled out with the update. And I'm like actually learning how it works as I'm, exploring it. And so, Son of Man, Let's see what we got here. All right, so now this opened up a wider search. And then you can even see just how many times, 401 times in the book of Ezekiel, 115 times in Matthew. So we just kind of see, I think this is a very good visual if you're looking for certain phrases and how many times it's mentioned. Or another one that I did was, I'm going to close out. I'm going to do it one more time. Charts. I tested out truly. Let's see. I think I've got to put this in. I hope I'm putting this in right. All right. Boom. So now we see, and I know some of you have always heard this mentioned, but remember, like the truly's in the book of John, we see that that's 25 times where truly is mentioned. And as you can see, let me point out really quickly, I put this in the brackets, the greater than, less than sign, because this is specifically what I want to see. I want to see truly coupled together. And so if you don't put them in the brackets, then it's probably going to bring up every instance in the Bible where the word truly is mentioned, whether it's once or twice. But when you put them together like this actually gives you the phrase where you can see where it is actually coupled together over and over. So I think that's cool. That's a very good feature to have. I love to like reference when I'm teaching, or even when I'm making a post, a Facebook or Twitter post. I like to check my biblical references and things like that to make sure it's accurate. All right. The last couple of things that I do want to mention is, remember that Logos also has apps for your smartphones or smart devices. And so with this recent update with Logos 9, they've also incorporated, really just making the apps more robust and more capable of doing some of these features when you're on the go. So I encourage you to check that out. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. That's mainly the main things that I wanted to cover. Another cool thing is also remember that things that if your account is synced, the things that you search, or say you're at church and you put a passage in your Logos app, and then you want to go and reference that when you get home on your computer. It's connected. So if you look up a passage, you can also come back. If you look up that passage on your phone, you can come back and explore it even more from your computer or your MacBook. And so I think that's it, guys. I hope that this was helpful for you. And if you got questions, please feel free to share them. And, ask me anything. I love to talk about Logos. And I can't wait for you to start using this tool as well. Grace and peace.